We're all told set goals, but at the same time, trust me, most of us are confused. How exactly can we set goals? Like, how do we define our goals? Unfortunately, most of you don't even come up and say that's the problem you have. And to actually achieve something, it all starts with having a defined goal. So today, let's understand how do you define goals, how do you achieve them, and how can you make sure you're accountable to the goals you've set for yourself. And of course, we'll also discuss what are some problems we have while achieving our goals. In today's video, let's discuss about how can you set some audacious goals so that you can actually achieve them and lead a life which you always envisioned. So without any further ado, let's get into the topic. Hello everyone, this is Kapil Reddy, founder and CEO of Zuperly. Today we're going to discuss about goals, how do you define them, how do you achieve them. So first and foremost, let's understand, like, okay, somebody gave you an advice like set goals for yourself. This is a common cliche advice we keep hearing, right? So whenever you want to do something, let's say you set out to do something or you have big dreams in place, whatever it is, it all starts with defining your goals. So the first thing you got to do is just define those goals. Again, one important problem with a lot of people when they set their goals is they just limit their belief. So again, the whole idea of goal is definitely to achieve it, but one thing which a lot of people ignore is set those goals in such a way that even if you achieve 10% or 20% or 50% of it, you still feel you're much more successful and you've achieved your dreams. Just set a goal which you think is completely unrealistic, which you think is impossible to achieve. But make sure you set that goal which you think is impossible, because you never know what is possible. You never know how you can actually achieve it. While setting goals itself, have very audacious goals. Goals which are beyond your imagination, which you absolutely think you cannot actually achieve them. Once you start doing it, you'll see a significant difference in the way you work and try to achieve these goals. The second problem is now, for example, as I told you, you've decided this audacious goal. And again, another thing we'll get back to a little later is how can you define goals for like 2 decades or 3 decades. But before all that, as I told, the first problem we encounter while setting up goals is your limiting mindset. As I told, do not have that belief or just see, okay, what is realistic? Is it possible or is it achievable? Do not hinder your possibility in achieving your goals. So do not limit yourself. And the second thing is, let's say now you've defined your goals. So the best way to identify is what are the problems you have in achieving this goal. So again, for that, let's have the 5 whys principle. Let's say you decide on a goal and you see this is a problem. Just question first, like, why is it a problem? Question it second time, why is it a problem? Like that, have 5 different whys to understand what exactly is the reason for not achieving a goal. For example, I'll give you a very small example. You want to get to Harvard Business School. Just question, why is it a problem? First thing, probably you can't crack your GMAT. So that's probably problem number 1. Second why is, okay, why is it a problem? Are you not able to study regularly? So third why, probably you're too busy with so many other things that you're not able to focus on your GMAT preparation. Like that, have at least 5 problems. And once you're clear about the problems, the next definite solution is to identify the solution. But again, there is an intermediate step before you get into the solution part, which is again a lot of people unfortunately miss. So when you have a problem, don't directly jump into solution. Always try to diagnose the problem. What exactly is the root cause of this problem? For all these 5 problems which you've listed, just try to diagnose the root cause of it. For example, let's say you're not able to crack GMAT. Why? Again, why is it a problem? Are you just assuming that you probably need a pretty high score? Is there a better alternative? Start diagnosing where the problem is. And let's say, for example, you're not able to do pretty well in math. So reach out to the right people who can actually help you excel in math. So in this way, first you're diagnosing the root cause of the problem. So your solution will be focused on eliminating the root cause of the problem. In that way, it's much more reasonable for you to actually achieve it. As I told, you first defined a goal, you understood what the problems are, you have diagnosed the problem. Now the 4th step you got to do is design a system that actually works for you. For example, as I told, if you really want to get into Harvard, you got to be really working hard to actually achieve it. It's very competitive to actually get into Harvard, and you know that. To actually achieve that goal, you got to have a system or a design that actually works for you. Of course, you can 100% use Zuperly to actually help you get into that system where Zuperly will help you focus on your learning while rest of it is taken care by us. Now that your goal is clear, just reverse engineer everything. Like, these are all the different steps I got to do. Let's say Harvard. First thing, probably you got to need a good GMAT score. So to get a good GMAT score, what are the different ways for you? Maybe take coaching or just prepare by yourself. Reach out to some people who have already been there, done that. Crack some previous exam papers. It can be anything. Again, here I'm just picking up Harvard as an example, but the same principle applies for any goal which you have. Even if you want financial independence by age of 40, that is also possible, and that is something you can do. Like, my point is, whatever I'm trying to tell right now, it's not just limited to your learning goals or study goals. It can be for anything. Now that you know like what are all the different things to do, just devise a system so that you are more accountable to it. And every single time keep checking on it. Keep seeing like, are you consistent in actually doing it? Once you start doing all these steps, trust me, you are in a much more comfortable position to actually achieve your goals. And believe me, nothing is impossible. Anybody who thinks this is impossible is only limiting their own beliefs. We're all on the same page. It's all about the kind of steps you take, the kind of planning you have, and the kind of goals you have. These are the things which will actually differentiate people from achieving their goals to just dreaming about your goals. And 100% you can achieve your goals by following these simple steps. Now the 4 steps are done. Obviously the 5th step is to execute on it, to make sure you're accountable, to make sure you're consistent, to make sure you are not forgetting your goal. So always keep remembering the goal whenever you feel like giving up in between. Just visualize like how exactly you will be, like how happy you will feel once you get into Harvard. Just imagine all the reactions you get probably from your friends and family. I think that is what will actually motivate you. And now that you've got a system in place, that makes it super simple for you to actually achieve it. Yeah, the system is easy or simple, or it gives you a lot of clarity. But end of it, it's still a lot of hard work, effort, and time that actually gets into it. But end of it, once you achieve your goal, you'll just forget about everything and you'll feel immensely happy. And trust me, this is something that will stay for you forever. And that is something you should be really happy about and proud about. As I told, that was just one example, but goals can vary from person to person. It all depends on what your personal ambition is. And just getting to Harvard is probably a definition of success for somebody. But for you, probably it's another thing altogether. Maybe starting a YouTube channel and getting to 1 million subscribers is your definition of success. Whatever it is, do not compare yourself with others. Just try to understand your strengths, try to understand your weaknesses so that you can actually overcome them, and make sure you're only answerable to yourself. This is the only way in which you can actually achieve the goals you've set for yourself. So before concluding the video, I'll just tell 1 or 2 steps which probably a lot of people miss when it comes to a goal. Now imagine you have this big goal of writing a book, for example. Before even thinking that you want to straight away write a book, try to do small things. Try to start building an audience by writing something every single day. It can be a small blog, or it can be an article, it can be your thoughts. Writing a book is probably your big goal. But don't try to achieve that goal all at once. You can always start small, because these small micro goals will actually give you that motivation to actually achieve your big goal. That is something you can easily experience in any of the goals you set forth. So start building. Let's imagine start writing a blog and have that, okay, I need to get at least 100 subscribers for this, or I need to get 1,000 followers for this particular blog I'm writing. Just have that small goal, and once you achieve it, that motivation, that pump, and the kind of learning you have is immense. And all that is something that will help you to achieve the bigger goal. A lot of people always get overwhelmed looking at the big goal, and they forget about these intermediary steps where you have to have these intermediary goals, which can just be like micro goals as well. With ideally, you're breaking the big goal into multiple small goals. And with every micro goal that you achieve, you'll have more confidence to actually achieve your big goal. So this is one small trick or hack or whatever you call it that you can 100% use to make sure you achieve the big goal that you set forth for yourself. As I told, don't worry too much about how exactly to achieve your goals, or don't limit your belief. You are capable of doing it. Just believe, and it will happen one day. So I hope this was helpful. To get more such videos, please do like, subscribe, comment, and share this video within your network. As I keep saying, like, we need more awareness around the topics which I am discussing at the moment. If you see even our previous videos, you can always understand, like, we cover a lot of information which is probably not very popular. So we need your support in helping us to share these videos, and that's how we can actually spread the knowledge wide and far. So thank you so much. I hope you all have a great weekend ahead and a great week ahead. So until then, signing off. Bye-bye.